quite... Oh, wow! Look at that! First of all, can't believe they made t-shirts.
Officially licensed piece of garbage,
Woo-wee.
Gildan, uncomfortable, shitty-ass shirt.
It's not a good cut? Is that what you're telling me?
If you know t-shirts, Gildan is like, what are the cheapest shirts we can buy? The scratchiest, garbagiest, standard shirts that exist.
Since we're showing off shirts, Dan...
I saw you got your Rip-'em.
I got my Rip-'em. And it's a nice shirt. You should order from the WWE shop more often because it is soft AF, dude.
That's what I say to myself every day. I should order more. Wait, that was actually in the WWE store?
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
And this week we're doing the 2011, what's his name? The Taylor Lautner star vehicle Abduction from Lionsgate. Hour and 45 minutes.
And it's a quick hour 45. It zooms by.
I mean, it wasn't painful. Yeah.
It moved. My one positive is it moved.
I mean, John Singleton was the director, and he did direction. I mean, it wasn't, the action sequences were pretty good, and... Oh,
really? You thought you liked them? That was one of my biggest complaints, is I did not feel like they were cohesive. I felt like they were very jumpy. I felt like it was trying to be a Bourne action scene, but without the actual, deftness to do it. Like, he just couldn't figure out how they did it correctly, because it felt sluggish, but they were still like quick cuts where I couldn't tell what the action was, but then they'd hang on. I don't know. The pacing felt off. I did not enjoy the two action scenes that we got in the action movie.
There were more than two. Was it
only if you're counting him running in a straight line for extended amount of time? That end chase scene is abysmal.
My favorite, we're just jumping ahead.
That's fine.
It's like at the very end scene, he's like the bad guy and him are both in the baseball stadium, and then he's like gotten away from the bad guy and he's hiding behind a pillar, and his dad's on the phone with him. And he's like, you'll never get out of there alive. And I'm like, he will definitely get out of there. I mean, you could just like... There's like a million. You can't find someone at a sports stadium.
He's fine. Just walk out the exit. You're fine.
Anyone that's been to a real sports stadium, they're like 10 city blocks. They're like,
buy one of the hats. Buy a Dodger. Is it L.A.? Buy a Dodgers hat and just walk out. It's not L.A., is it?
It was the Pirates.
Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh.
See, I know baseball. But baseball fanatic.
But you're kind of, this is one of those movies where they work as hard as possible to keep the two main characters connected to each other and going somewhere and doing something. Yeah. Okay.
Let's do
Abduction. We start out with hard driving music, which Tony loved.
Dan, this is my first note. Ready? It goes, oh my God, this opening song rocks. This movie's going to be dope.
and it kind of sets you up. You're like, okay, this is fun. This going to be a hard driving movie. Things are going to happen. And Taylor Lautner's on the front of the pickup truck, like doing his own stunts.
And I'm immediately out. Listen, Dan, that is so dangerous. The intro to this film is exactly why I don't want to have kids.
Oh, my God. My stars and garters. What might happen to Taylor in that beautiful face? Oh my God. He could be my child. So wait, you project yourself as his parents?
Yes, I did, because I am that age now, and I just thought to myself, if my kid is riding on the hood of a frickin' truck down a road, I'm going to ground him for life. He will never leave his bedroom. Unbelievable. That is so dangerous. And he's fine. What I thought was going to happen was they were going to crash. I thought for sure they were going to crash and his friends were going to die. But guess what? They're all fine. This is a terrible moral lesson for the kids of the world. You can ride on cars. It's fine. Idiots.
So they're going to a party, and they show up at the party.
Underage drinking, another bad moral of the film.
Good God, Tony, when did you become like old man, whatever the fuck?
When I turned age 35, it all changed.
Yep. Hey, ladies, we're here and ready to party. Dude, you're crazy. Let's do this. Check it out. Those are amongst the very first lines of the movie.
It's the dialogue in this movie is so bad. It's not bad. It's just so basic.
Yes, it's very basic.
There's no real human dialogue in almost the whole film. It's just kind of characters saying charactery lines.
But you're right. They're actors saying lines. They're not characters saying characters. Yes. There's nothing, and it's a pool party. There's some hot girls fighting. Oh yeah, someone says that's swag, which I was like, that's swag.
Was that a cool thing to say? I wasn't cool in 2011.
And we, so they're hanging out, and we get the two plot points that are going to be paid off later, right here at the beginning.
Yeah, great job foreshadowing. I like it. Really
his
good.
Buddy makes fake IDs, and his buddy has access to the Pirates baseball team via tickets.
Which is great that they brought that back. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how he has them, really.
No.
And I'm not sure why they're not traced. It doesn't really matter for the ending, but I was kind of like, sure, but aren't those his dad's tickets, which is his best friend? So really you'd be able to know where he's going before he goes there, right? I don't know.
You mean the bad guys would have known about the tickets?
I think the good guys should have known about the tickets. You don't think so?
You mean the FBI or the bad guys?
Yeah, I guess good is relative in all of the people, but I mean the CIA, right? That's Doc Ock.
Yeah, were they CIA or FBI? I think they're FBI, because CIA operates outside of the country, FBI operates inside of the country.
Could have sworn he said CIA. You know what? I'm sure you're right.
He could have said CIA. It should have been FBI, because that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know nothing. Unless the Pirates are overseas and we did not realize that it was like not Major League Baseball. It's the double A's, triple A's.
So we set up that this friend has this access, which is basically we're to learn unlimited access to the Pirates.
Unbelievable. So cool.
So we're burning through this. He gets drunk and passes out on the lawn.
Oh, well, hold on. I have a question because
we didn't do the girlfriend. We didn't do the girlfriend. Sorry.
We did not do the girlfriend, and that sets up the other plot point. Well, kind of, not really. That he has anger issues, I guess. But
rage.
Are they cool? I can't
him and the girl?
Tell. No. Him and his friends. Are they cool kids or are they outsiders? I honestly couldn't tell.
Well, what happens is he's sort of standing there, and then this other guy, this not super hot, yeah. This high school attractive girl walks by, yeah. And he's all making googly eyes, and we find out that they have a past of some sort.
By the way, real quick on the googly eyes, his smolder, not very good. He looks like he's just kind of closing his eyes most of the time. Like that's his brooding look. He's just like, it's very good. It's very good.
So her boyfriend, who's this sort of Weasley blonde guy, bumps into Taylor, Nathan, and sort of goes, and he's like, I'm ready to go,
he says,
bro.
It's one of my favorite lines of the movie. He goes, watch it. And then Nathan goes, watch what? It's like, yeah, you get him, dude.
Hot burn. Showing, oh man, I could have been there. So they don't fight
because the girlfriend whispers in her boyfriend's ear. Yeah, she like, it's like a 10-second whisper. She stops him from fighting. I assume she's like, he's got rage issues. Don't do that. But we don't get to know that.
Yes, for a guy with rage issues, he's
so controlled.
You can be punching him in the face, and his rage issues, like he's like, they're coming. You better watch out. Rage issues
it's
coming
boiling.
soon.
It's boiling. Don't worry.
Don't push me. So we meet the girl and we find out they have some sort of history. So Tony, what if you were writing the log line of this movie, which is your one or two lines that like are that you give to a producer to say this is what this movie's about? What do you say this movie's about?
I would say, I mean, I know, what's it called when you combine two movies for the pitch? What's that? That's not the log line, obviously, but
oh, I don't know.
I mean, the pitch is Jason Bourne meets teen romance. I mean, that's my pitch for the movie. But as a log line, I would say Nathan finds out that he was sort of adopted and his past comes back to haunt him. Like that. I guess it's not really his past, though. It's like his dad's. I don't know.
His dad's past and general current things that his dad are doing.
His dad's present.
He gets drawn into a web whereby certain people are going to try to exploit him to get someone else to do something or get something that they want. So it's just
hot dog. I'll buy that in the room. Ka-ching.
So what this movie suffers from is Taylor Lautner was they think Taylor Lautner might be a huge movie star. So what they decided to do was make this movie and put a fair amount of money and put a fair amount of stars and put some action into it to see if he can be a star. Right? That's what I think. I think this 100%.
This is absolutely a test.
This was his testing ground, and he got a D, sadly.
So, yes, first of all, he was not good at all. I can't remember the joke exactly, but I leaned over to my wife at one point, and I was like, he makes a better robot than Randy Quaid did in Pluto Nash. Because he's got one note the whole time. For a dude with rage issues, he's very monotone. Like, his rage is definitely beneath the surface, and he cannot emote. But the movie itself was not good. Like, the script wasn't very good. So you kind of set him up to fail. I feel bad for him a little bit. I don't think it's entirely his fault that this movie didn't work out. But it made a lot of money. It made like $80 million.
Yes, but I'm sure it made the wrong money. I could bet you it made just the wrong money. Yeah. Just like Love Guru made some money, but it made the wrong money. It didn't make the money the way it was supposed to make money. That was to prove the point of concept was that he can be a star. And the thing is this is made through his production company, which as
I didn't do that research. Okay.
I mean, yes, and that when I did a little more research, he's a hard guy to research because nothing kind of happened after this movie. He's had two sort of TV show things, one of them in England, which cannot be good.
Oh, interesting.
But it said a series of things fell apart that he was working on through his production company. And so you could totally tell he came off Twilight hot. They're like, okay, your production company set up the offices, meetings. Everybody's like, we want to work with you. Then this movie comes out and it does a flat line. And in this world, a flat line means a failure.
You see, and this is where I think it's his agent's fault. Because if I've learned anything from Entourage, you always book your next gig before your last movie comes out so nobody knows how trash it is. That's Agent 101 in Hollywood. Always be ahead of the game, guys.
But I think the whole thing is they're trying to sculpt his career. And the truth of the matter is you don't sculpt the career. You say yes to anything you can, and you just keep making stuff because nobody expected Twilight to do $1 billion.
Except for you, Dan, because it's your favorite movie of all time.
It's freaking dreamy. So I think, and that's why in this movie, he's not a character because they don't want to give him rage issues. They don't want to say that he has an alcohol problem because he was, he lost his mom and has all these bad dreams and he has all these problems, but they're not manifest in the character because they want him to be this squeaky clean guy that girls can love, as opposed to like this effed up guy that the girls love even more.
Yeah,
because
they love the bad boys. They
him.
love damaged men. And I don't mean that in a bad way. My wife loves damaged men. That's why I'm married. I don't know. If that's the case, I understand everything you're saying, but if that's the case,
was that a joke? Was that a joke, Tony?
No, that's serious. I have severe issues, guys. Big
rage
time.
Issues?
I got rage issues, if you can't tell. Actually, you probably can tell if you listen to this podcast. I do have rage issues.
So I wrote here squanch face.
What? Can you emote that for me?
He makes his face. It's kind of a squanch face, and it's very unattractive. So does his dad pick him? Man. Does his dad pick him up at the party?
Yes.
Drunk the next. So his dad picks him up.
His dad picks him up the next day.
Yeah, next day
because he wakes up and finally, I waited 5 minutes to get Taylor Lautner shirtless. It finally happens at the 4:30 mark. I thought it was never going to happen. I was waiting, and it was worth it, man. That guy is cut up. Good for him. Dedication.
So his dad picks him up, takes him home. It's Jason Isaacs, his mom's Maria Bello, and then his dad immediately starts beating the crap out of him with boxing gloves.
So this is something that I'd like to talk to you about, this scene and how you feel about it, because the wife and I got in an argument over it, of course. I am on the dad's side in this scene. I want to hear how you felt about the situation.
How I felt is they were just playing him one level of dick too high. He was just such a dick. And you're just like, if they'd have toned the dick down a little bit, and just made it. And this is the problem with the whole movie is we find out that these aren't really his parents and that his dad is like this super spy. The problem is they haven't decided where they're going to trick us, right? The whole idea of these kind of movies is to keep us in some level of suspense, but that never happens. We realize instantaneously these aren't his parents, but never once do we think that these aren't his parents and they have it in for him. That they're using him. We always know that all they do is care about him. And the whole idea of you having no identity because you're not with your real parents is you have to become untethered from what you believe. He says it a few times, sort of, but he never becomes untethered where he's like, I don't know where I stand in the world. He always really knows where he stands in the world throughout this entire movie. I
mean, this kid, for, again, rage issues, he's pretty calm and collected for all of this craziness that's happening to him.
And so Jason Isaacs, punches him and says, you gotta do better because life.
So I did not find him to be a dick. I was like, good for you, Dad, teaching the hard lessons. And the kid was just being a little wimp about it. He brought out a karate kick at one point. You guys, you're boxing. Don't break the rules because you're losing. You lose.
Jeez. Did your dad keep you in a box? Tony's been bad. He's put him in the box.
There was one hole in the box, and instead of a breathe hole, it was for the zapper. Bzzt, bzzt.
I don't know if you're kidding. Oh my God.
Of course I'm kidding. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
You think that's how a kid should be brought up, extra whip,
I don't know if it's how you should be brought up, but I'm just saying, at least he was wearing gloves, right? It was in at least the facade that they were practicing sparring. So that's pretty good.
So he didn't put on the gloves with the metal spikes.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel this time. Jesus, not like Gladiator where he's got the whip and the pokey fork. So then I wrote the parents love each other. I guess there was something where we see that Jason Isaacs and Maria Bello love each other.
For sure. There's a scene in the kitchen where they're kind of flirting. And I guess I would have liked to know just like a little bit more about them before we just kill them off. Because I was confused. Were they a couple before? Did they get assigned this mission because they were already a couple and they're like, you'll be great as parents, maybe here have a kid? Did they fall in love while they were on the job? Because I like that angle as well. I just would have liked a little bit of knowledge about who they were.
That would have involved writing 2 or 3 lines about them. So then we meet Sigourney Weaver. She's his shrink.
Because of their rage issues.
And he feels like a stranger in my own life. He has insomnia and rage issues. And she says that he should just put the anger away.
Basically, she's like, don't worry about it.
And then he talks about the dream, which of course we all know is real because they stage it exactly as it's real. We're going to find out that the big bad guy at the end killed his mom while he watched from under a bed.
Yeah.
Because somehow closure.
Yeah.
Then I wrote motorcycle/band montage. I don't know band.
Is he in a band?
No,
I don't remember that. But he drives his motorcycle a lot. But he looks pretty good on it. He's no Tom Cruise on a motorcycle, but still, I'd buy it.
Then we see wrestling, and we show that he's a great wrestler.
Did we? I strongly disagree that that's what we showed. I would have liked him to do a cool move. All he did was hip toss his opponent. That's like Wrestling 101. His opponent was a terrible wrestler. What is going on? The person that wrote that scene obviously didn't wrestle. I mean, they grapple for, 8 seconds, and then he hip tosses him and pins him. Come on, you guys. That's Bush League wrestling.
So then we have this sort of extended weird scene with the sociology teacher who sets up. I mean, wasn't that there was this whole sort of weird thing where he's talking and talking and talking where they have to set up with partners, and he of course magically gets partnered with the girl across the street. That's
what was the assignment, Dan?
Write a paper about sociology.
Right. That's kind of what I got too. It's just like a general sociology. For a scene that lasts 3 minutes of him talking nonsense, he never explains the assignment that then is the catalyst for the whole movie.
Pretty much.
As they're doing the research, I was like, what is the assignment? Your research doesn't make any sense.
So then he's at home, and then she's coming over, and he spies her out the window, and he's like, oh my God, she's coming. And he freaks out, and he's throwing his underwear around and trying to clean his room.
A great moment for comedy, but they just missed it. They didn't do it. I don't know what happened, but that should have been a little fun, oh, he's a cute teenager still. It was dumb. I hated it.
So she gets in there, she's in the room, and she's looking around, and she says a line when last time I was in here, you had bunk beds.
Yeah, and then she's also you still like games or something. So it's trying to establish that she's been in the room before, but it's also weird. It's all so weird.
Bunk beds.
Yeah, by himself? Why does he have bunk beds?
Is there a dead twin that we don't know about?
That's a great twist. I love that. That should happen. But it's not. It's just like a kid. Maybe they wanted more. I don't know. Again, I don't understand the backstory.
So they're working on the paper, which they're looking at.
Hold on. You missed a very important part. I'm all about the parenting in this episode, Dan.
Oh, she comes in with cookies or something?
Well, as the mom's leaving, she asks, door open or door closed? No, Mom, door open. Always. He's 17 years old.
He says 17. Door closed.
I know that's what he says. That you should don't offer that. What kind of parenting is that? Would you like me to close the door so you guys can fornicate? What are you talking about? Not in my house, Dan. Door open.
And what does he say?
Well, he says door closed, but he says it like a snot, which is where I remove his door.
She closes the door.
Yeah, she 100%. She just does it. She's just like, hey, that's cool.
So this little teen girl that lives across the street, I mean, she looked kind of menaced when the door was shut, right?
Yeah, she's like, please don't lock me in here with this creep. But the mom's like, it's fine. Don't worry.
Gotta
He's just
make
a super
babies
skilled
sometime.
martial artist. Oh my god.
So they're doing their research on the computer, and then they like find a picture of a little kid, and then he's like, there's like a button to push to age the kid or
Yeah,
something.
this website that they find has picked milk carton kids, and it somehow transforms them into what they look like today. This algorithm is amazing, by the way. Fantastic.
We're gonna find all those kids, and he's like, that looks like me. She's like, that looks like you. And he becomes instantly interconflicted, thinking that's him.
Yes. Yeah.
Like not even like, huh.
Right. There's not a moment where he's like, well, I mean, I have my parents. I'm not on this. This isn't me. There's lots of kids that probably look like that. But no, it's immediate. He's like, oh shit, that tiny kid, that looks just like I remember myself looking in the mirror. But
And so
before all that, Dan, I just want to point out why, again, I don't like the kids in this movie. They're all jerks. They spend 2 or 3 minutes making fun of these milk carton kids.
oh, really? Did they?
Yes, they're like, oh, he looks like if this one ugly person met this homeless person. Like, what? You guys are the worst. You deserve to be on that list.
So he was grounded for being drunk all night. So
Was he, though?
yes. And so why did I write evil guy in car? Who's the evil guy? Are they like watching him already?
Yeah, someone's watching the house because this is the night that they get attacked already.
Oh, he calls the number. Yeah, he calls the number and says,
he calls the helpline.
I maybe have seen this kid. Who is this kid? And of course, they instantly get this information to the bad guys, like instantaneously.
So apparently, from what I understood, the bad guy, that's the bad guy's website.
Yeah.
The bad guy made an entire real website with an incredible algorithm that took many data scientists years to develop just to catch this one kid.
More importantly, later on in the movie, they say he did all sorts of things like this. Not just there's not just one. He's like, you get the feeling he's done like hundreds of different things.
For how long, Dan? Because didn't the dad just steal the information from the bad guy? Like, how quickly did they implement these things?
No, they implemented it way back in the day.
Just
for
in case.
Years. For years, yes. They've been trying to track this kid down for years. Yes. No, he makes one slip at any point, and he's like, "You're gone." Probably if he sends in a 23andMe, he dead.
Oh yeah, he's dead for sure. Because they probably own 23andMe. That was their idea.
Yeah. He owns 23andMe. So there's like an evil guy in the car. I don't know what happens. He spills to his mom, right? So he tells he has all the stuff laid out on the bed, and mom walks in, and he's all like, "Is this me?" And she's like, "Yep, that's you."
Yeah. She's very forthcoming with it. I mean, I guess if you're faced with all the evidence, you just give up because you're a super spy and can't lie to save your own life.
Somebody wants to be on TV.
Oh, she's got the cone off. Great.
Great
news. Good for you.
So he spills to the mom, and then the bad guys are outside because as soon as the bad guys find out, they're instantly able to send more bad guys anywhere in the world. Pittsburgh.
So the infrastructure of this bad guy network is
crazy.
So great. They are so good at what they do. Unlike the FBI or CIA, whichever it is, they are not nearly as good as the bad guys.
So this is the big exciting scene where the bad guys come in. Two bad guys come in with silencer guns. They come in, and then Maria Bello fights them first. And she you like that part. She was kicking ass.
Yeah. I'm like, hell yeah, ma. Get it.
So she's like banging them, stabbing them with the things, with the pruning shears,
which
right in the
somehow
shoulder.
Did nothing. They were totally fine. I felt like she spent 4 minutes beating the crap out of them, and then they were just kind of like, "Ah, boy, Good thing women can't hit, because I'm fine right now.
Shake it off. And then he sees it, and with his rage issues, he runs away.
What? This kid should be in there and like get his ass kicked, and then the dad has to come save him, and then he runs away reluctantly. That's what should have happened. But
his first instinct, run away.
Just
like
being a scared little baby.
Like the little bitch that he is. So then Jason Isaacs, who's in the shop in the garage grinding metal,
as you do,
gets a gun, runs out with the gun, points the gun in front of him, and what does he immediately do? Jumps over and engages in hand-to-hand combat. You're in charge with a gun,
and they just shot your fake wife. You don't fight. You shoot first. All right, shoot first. Do the Han Solo. Shoot first. Ask questions later.
You use your gun. So he starts. We start fighting again. And then, what's his name's halfway down the street, and he decides, oh, maybe I should go back. So then he turns around.
For the neighbor girl.
Oh, because he realized the neighbor girl was going to go over to his house at some point. So
I can't remember her name, but he says her name in the street.
Not for his parents. Karen?
No.
I don't know.
Oh, I think that's right.
Maybe. No one cares. She's not a character. She's a female prop that just wanders through scenes. So he runs back, and then Jason Isaacs gets killed, and then the rage issues kick in.
Did they?
Yeah, because he throws. Oh no, you're right. No, Jason Isaacs tells him to run.
Yeah, and then yeah. So he's still hiding, right? Until the dad dies. He's like, run, and then he runs, and then he comes back for the girl who's being held at gunpoint.
Then this girl gets traumatized like multiple times and is unaffected by it.
She watches them die. She's at the door watching people that she's grown up living next door to get brutally murdered, and then she gets held at gunpoint herself, and she's fine. Kids are resilient, Dan.
And the killer, who's like, cold-hearted killer, what does he do? He like drops a line, "I'm not gonna make this take too long," or something. Stupid.
Yeah. He's like, "Don't worry, you won't even feel it." It's like, okay, just kill her, dude.
That's how long it takes to kill somebody. Don't need to do a comical line. So Nathan takes something, he throws it at the dude, and then
he shot glass, and
then he just rages on the dude. Like he really rages on him,
which is cool.
Which was nice. And then they get like a poker, and he smacks him in the nuts, I think. And he's ready to friggin' dismantle this guy.
Which is what he should do.
And we get to the best line in the movie. What's the best line in the movie?
I have no idea. I didn't write down any lines in this scene.
You mean the best line in the movie?
I thought I already did the best line.
The best thing in the whole movie? There's a bomb in the oven.
Oh, I have so many questions on this, Dan. So what he says is, "Nathan, I'm not going to die here. There's a bomb in the oven." Okay. But then he doesn't leave, right? He does die there.
We don't know.
I don't understand the line. Did he put the bomb there? Yeah. Why did he put the bomb? Why is the bomb on such a short timer if he's in the house? That's just bad planning. Give yourself time to get out and move along down the street, probably.
You know how hard it is to have a bomb that's attached to your phone where you just push a button and the bomb blows up? But no, they've decided that they're going to go into this house, and at some point they plant this bomb, which you never see them plant the bomb because they're constantly fighting with people who are looking for Nathan. And they put the bomb in the oven with a timer, and then what does Nathan do? Someone says to you, "There's a bomb in the oven." Do you go to the oven, Tony?
100%. I have to fact check. Okay, Dan. What if he's lying? I don't know. So I got to go there. I got to look. Okay, that looks like a bomb. It's counting down for sure. Okay, and then I'll casually close the oven and then somehow be transported in 4 seconds outside by my own pool.
Well, so the bomb, they have 7 seconds when he opens the oven. He's like, "Oh, dope." And then they both start running, and they get blown into the pool, under the water, where they're safe because water protects you from everything.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Doesn't make any sense, but it's fine.
And then they motorcycle away. Then we have this montage of all the evil people in the world coming from every corner of the world. Hundreds and hundreds of guys getting on airplanes with the most advanced machine guns and everything to go to Pittsburgh and like hang out in a hotel.
Well, as we learned from Stealth, they just like to hang out together in buildings with no innocent civilians, so it's fine.
Wait, what is... You mean like the Alaska thing? Is that what happened in Stealth?
No. When they were all the three terrorists were meeting in a building, and it just happened to be only filled with terrorists and no good guys whatsoever.
So they're all ready. You know, the evil Russian guy has assembled his super crew, and then Nathan is at the... Why is he at the hospital? Oh, because she got cut or something.
She got hurt? I don't remember seeing it, but on the motorcycle, he asks her, how bad is it? And she's like, oh, it hurts. And then he's like, let's go to the hospital.
Is that how she talks? Oh, it hurts.
It hurts me.
I'm hurting right now. So, of course, he does your classic thing. He picks up the phone to call somebody, and the FBI instantly is on the line and instantly is talking to him.
Nathan. So here's my thing about several moments in this movie. They continually pick up their cell phones and just make a phone call.
Yep.
And each time it's the good/bad guys.
It's good guys and the bad guys.
You guys never learned a lesson.
Everybody, the good guys and the bad guys can tap into any phone call.
They
can tap into any camera. They can assemble any information that they might possibly need literally in seconds.
Except for when they reach out to their friend.
And we're going to talk about the black friend later because that's my pitch for this movie.
Okay.
This movie should be about him.
What's his name? Googly?
Yeah, his name is Googly.
Something? I'll find it. I wrote a note about him. Keep going.
So somehow... so he's talking to Alfred Molina, Frank, who's the head of the FBI or whatever. And then somebody says trust needs to be earned.
Taylor Lautner says it.
Oh, okay.
Because the FBI CIA is like, Nathan, I need you to trust me. He's like, trust is earned. And then hangs up. Or no, he just leaves it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even hang up.
His little girlfriend's in all this peril. The real people that can ostensibly help him, he's like giving the blow off to.
Yeah.
Like he's Mr. Outfitted to protect the world. So somehow Sigourney Weaver has figured out that he's here.
Well, they all know he's there, Dan.
But how does Sigourney Weaver know he's there?
Because she is also a super spy. They're all super spies.
But she didn't have all this. I mean, she doesn't have the tapping information.
Well, you don't know. She's probably got her own wiretap. She's a third wiretap. Or she's tapping the bad guys. Maybe she's a wiretap of a wiretap.
So she says something about, so she helped smuggle them out of the place.
With balloons, yeah.
Which, of course, makes no sense. Why are you smuggling this stupid girl out of there? Which... I mean, would they even know that he's affiliated with the stupid girl?
I don't think anyone that lived has seen her.
Yeah, because only the two assassins would have known she even exists. I mean, maybe that one assassin got out and said she's...
So he didn't die there. So he was
no, he definitely didn't die.
Word.
He absolutely didn't die.
I'm not
because
he die here. There's a bomb in the oven, and then he scrambles away.
Yeah, so he scrambled. So he has told them that the girl is pivotal, even though we don't even know that. You know, somehow
she's
they're going to
very important to him.
So Sigourney Weaver gets them into her vehicle, and they drive away. And then she says things like, "You were looking for answers your whole life," and then gives him the next step in the plot progression. Here's some keys. Here's an address, go here, and then jump out of the car as I go around this corner because she knows there's like this soft corner that they can jump out and...
Super spy, man. Super spy. She's run that route every day for 20 years. Ready for this one moment.
So she has driven off, and then she explodes in the distance. So we don't know if she's alive or dead.
Except for because they literally cut away so she's not in the explosion. It's not very misleading. They should have never. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So he's like, they're gonna track us, so we need to get in the river, which
Yes.
they never do track them with dogs.
No, of course not. There's no. Listen, there's no dogs. All right, dogs were too expensive for the budget.
So then she gets cold because she weighs got to be like 82 pounds, and she would totally like in a Pittsburgh river in the middle of the night. She would be a freaking popsicle.
I feel bad saying this, but her cold acting wasn't very good. And I was just like, guys, just let her get cold. Just let her method act for like the 4 seconds or don't show it. One of the two, because it wasn't good. She just kind of did the teeth chatter, the classic, ooh, I'm cold.
Jesus.
Idiots.
So he says something like, suddenly everyone is trying to kill me or something me. I can't read my own writing. Is drying red me. Dying red me. Trying to read me? I don't know. So the bad guys and the good guys are like, track the girl, track his friends, track everyone.
And as they're saying, I love the cuts to the people as they say their names, just in case we forgot who they're talking about. They're like, track the friends, then we go to the friends. Track this guy, we go to that guy. And it's just like, okay, this is weird.
So they hitchhike to the safe house, and they get there, and they unlock the door, which just, there's no alarm or anything. And then
It's just like an apartment.
Nathan starts tossing the whole place. Just like going through everything, calculator, rubber bands.
And what does she do, Dan? Her first move.
Cosmetics?
No, she picks up her phone and is like, I'm going to call my dad.
That is not the first thing she does.
Oh,
she goes to the bathroom and she has a towel and she's going like this with the towel.
I don't remember that at all.
I rewatched that part. She went to the bathroom and maybe she took a shower, which if I was in a freaking river, you'd be disgusting. I mean, the truck driver that picked them up should have been like, you guys smell like you're freaking swamp rats.
I forgot to mention that one more time. Terrible moral for the kids. Don't hitchhike, guys. Don't hitchhike, especially with a trucker that's like super excited, like, yeah, come on in. He's a bad guy. It's not going to end well, okay?
So Nathan tosses the place, and he finds money, a gun.
So much money.
He finds this little cell phone. I believe it was sitting out. I couldn't tell if it was in the bag or if it was sitting out on top of something.
I don't know.
And he opens it, and he sees all this coded information. Yep. And there's a little noise, too, isn't there?
Yep, for sure.
Just to let you know...
These are digits processing right now.
Something's happening in this phone, not normal phone stuff. This is the phone. This is the magic phone. This is what's going to get you killed.
There's a lot of magic phones in this movie.
One of the few good things about this movie is they do not discount the idea of the phone.
Yeah.
So I wrote down, make the idiot call. She picks up the phone, makes the idiot call to her uncle because her uncle's going to be worried about her because her parents are like off on some trip or something.
Yeah, they're in, what are they, Paris? I think they're in Europe or something. I think all these people are super rich. That's what I got out of it.
Everyone is super rich. Absolutely.
Yeah. Must be rough, Nathan.
Except the black kid who has to make money selling fake IDs to rich white kids.
Does he, though? Because his dad has all access passes to pirates. I think he's just a bad kid, Dan. Again, I think...
These are just bad kids. So he also finds a piece of paper that has a woman's name and an address. So they're like, this is the next thing we can do together. He doesn't cut loose with the girl. He doesn't say, you go free. Why don't you hang out in a motel? Because he's got
safe.
He's got like $10K. He doesn't say take $10K in cash and go to a hotel and hole up there until this is over. No. You go with me because we need extra jeopardy.
Well, because he hasn't had a girlfriend his entire life, and he's finally got a good situation that might lead to something. Girls in peril are always vulnerable, Dan.
Jesus, spoken like a true stalker. So he gets to the cemetery, he finds his mother's grave, and he says, I never knew either of my mothers.
Hold on. First of all, can we talk about them fight? How long did it take them to realize they were in a gosh darn cemetery? Because they're driving and he's still
confused.
looking. She's like, this is a weird address, but in the window, we're seeing a mausoleum. I'm like, you're already in the cemetery, guys. How long does it take to figure out that those letters and numbers are a freaking plot number? You idiots.
Oh, was there a plot number? Was that part of the address, thing? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It was like G367 something.
So they realize that, and so they're like, okay, we're out of clues except like the guy in Nebraska, which we're gonna have to do the guy in Nebraska next. Which I didn't quite understand the Nebraska guy, and so this is Tony's favorite part of the movie, where they find the next clue. How do they get the next clue, Tony?
I don't know. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I got nothing.
They go into the mortuary, and there's like the poor fat kid who's very homely.
Okay, I did write this down. This is my favorite part of the movie because it's hilarious.
This poor kid.
Is this an after-school job for him? Because he is a 15-year-old loser for sure. I'm sorry, that was me.
Wait a second, Tony. Hold on. You were like, they were on the site where they're little stolen kids, and you were like, they're making fun of those poor kids. And here's this poor little portly boy who's working in a mortuary, and you're like, burn him down.
Well, there are two key differences between those, Dan. One, those first kids were abducted. It was not their choice, okay? This kid just kind of let his life go off the rails, and here he is at the working at the cemetery, all right? And number two, they're kids, all right? This is a 15-year-old guy. Like, he's already had to deal with a lot of bullying for sure, the poor guy.
That's why you're bullying him more?
Yeah, I'm piling on. I'm trying to strengthen. I'm like the dad. I'm just trying to strengthen his character. All right? Fuck up.
Did they bully you in high school, Tony, or in junior high?
Well, no, yes, obviously, for sure. But the thing is, here's how you fight that, Dad. If you're in on the joke, they lose interest.
So is that how you funnied him up?
Yeah. That's how the majority of people in my situation get the self-deprecating humor that they have. It's from you beat those people to the punch and making fun of yourself, and then they respect you and think you're funny.
Like how? Like give me an example of this.
Well, so like on buses in middle school, right? People would make fun of you for taking up too much space on the seat. So then you'd have to make fun of yourself. So there would be days where I would like come and I'd sit on the edge of the seat where I'm hanging off a little bit. And I'd be like, man, I wish there was more room in these seats. And everybody thinks it's funny, you know? They think it's, oh, this guy's funny. He gets it. This guy gets it. And then they're all friends with you.
Did you read the Reader's Digest?
What Reader's Digest?
Do you know what the Reader's Digest is?
I mean, I've heard of the Reader's Digest. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So they're going to go to Nebraska by train, I think, is the plan.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to take the train to Nebraska. So they need help. So they need fake IDs to buy tickets to the train. So
now, I didn't know that. Do you have to be 18 to buy a train ticket? I've never ridden on a train.
You have to have an ID, I think, probably to buy a train ticket. Sure.
Okay, so it's not the age thing. It's just they're using fake identities. Got it.
I believe so. Because they're in the system, and the system leads everyone right to them. So
they know to do that, but they don't know to make a call from their own frickin' cell phones. Come on.
I got nothing. So the black buddy shows up, and he has 3 fake IDs from 3 different states.
How do they get a hold of him, Dan? How does he know where to meet them?
They call him on the phone.
How do they call him on the phone if the bad guys have all the phones? I don't understand. I was so mad at this point.
And that's my point. Is I didn't think about the phones. That's really terrible. But I thought it would be because they sort of say they give him like a sort of thing where he says like a line about how he snuck. I had to go out the back door so they didn't see me because there's a guy sitting somewhere.
Right. So they're watching your house, but they're not. But you can just call them and tell them where you are, or email them.
More importantly, they're not watching the house very well. You know,
because I had the back door.
I'd had like drones up above, and I'd have like, 17 people because they have enough guys to do anything.
They have tons of guys, but all you need is one guy at the front, one guy at the back. He went out the back door. They're only watching the front door.
Terrible. So they get on the train, and I guess he has the gun with him now because they're really worried about getting searched.
Yeah, he got the gun from his dad's apartment for sure.
Yeah. So, but he never pocketed it. They never showed him with the gun. No. They just sort of imply that he has the gun, and so he's nervous about getting on the train for the gun mostly, but we're not sure.
And can I just say that if I was that security guard, I 100% would have frisked him because he was staring right at you nervously. He's like, oh my God, please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. Oh, he didn't pick me. What a great day.
So we get on the train and we start to sort of litigate their original relationship, which something happened in summer, and then they made out, and then he sort of rejected her, and then boom, they're doing it.
Hold on. His line was
okay
because they hooked up in the summer, and it's just like, when we got back to school, why didn't you ask me out? And he's like, I don't know, I just thought summer was summer.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Well, he explains it later what was going on with him, that he was like emotionally not ready or something. I wasn't ready, he says later.
No, thank you. Or something. Oh no, that's the exact line. Got it.
That's the one. And so then we have the big makeout scene, and Tony's going to talk about the makeout scene and do his whole Tony makeout.
It's actually going to be very short. He passes the test. I'll tell you that right now. I was into it. I was like, Taylor, look at those lips, dude. Good for you.
This kid knows how to kiss. That girl knows how to kiss. These are two professionals.
Yeah, this is the first time we've watched one of these movies where I was like, cool. Good for you guys. I'm into it.
They got it on big time, and they were going to have major sex. I mean, this was going. I mean, Dad Tony probably is like, no condom, no sex, or something.
We did make that joke. We're like, I hope that he brought one. Always be prepared. He brought a gun. He better have brought a condom. If he was forcing her to come along,
Oh, and so he says, says something, and he says, I know what I'm doing now.
Oh, because when they were kissing, she was like, oh, that's an improvement or something.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Obviously, he was awkward. It was middle school, lady. Okay? Sheesh.
It also makes us wonder, who are these other girls that he learned all these moves with? Because, Tony
could have been his hand. That's where I learned, Dan. You never did that? You make the face with your hand? And you kiss it? You never did that? Was that not around when you were a kid? Because
you sat in your room and made out with your hand?
You make it, when you say it like that, it sounds creepy, but I was perfecting my craft. And I got to tell you, if I ever get a movie where I get to kiss, there's going to be a podcast just like this. And those guys are going to be like, damn, he did it. He knows what he's doing. Just like Taylor Lautner.
So right in the middle of all this, she's like, it is hot and heavy. She says, we should get some food. She just like shuts it down.
She shuts it down cold. And you know what? Kudos to him for being like, cool. Because that could have gone, there could have been a weird moment, but they played it very good. I don't know why she cut it off, but
you mean his rage issues didn't cut in? And
right, because he doesn't have rage issues, Dan. That was a lie.
So the bad guy's on the train. We know that. So the bad guy grabs the girl and then like really brutally beats her up. Like, yeah, it was really brutal.
Pretty bad. And what's interesting is there's like no blood in this movie. I don't know if you noticed that, but nobody really bleeds. But
because they're probably PG and
sure, but she bruised. But she's the only person in the movie who bruises. It was very weird to me because Taylor Lautner gets hit in the face a bunch, never bruises. In this train scene that we're about to talk about, he gets his head smashed into a window, cracks the window, beautiful face. Nothing wrong, pristine, beautiful face. And I was like, what? That's weird.
That's where the money is.
Why bruise the girl?
the girl's face is not the money. His face is the money.
I guess. Just felt weird.
So he just I think he kicks her on the ground one time. I mean,
for sure. Yeah.
It's really just like, kind of like in No Holds Barred, they like adding like this extra level of brutality on the women just to show you that these are bad guys.
These are the bad people.
It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I usually don't get uncomfortable in movies, but it sort of felt personal in like a weird way.
To me, again, is that it felt so much more real and brutal than any of the other fight scenes in the entire movie.
Yes.
Everything else is quick cuts, and you don't really see a lot of connection and the hitting, but this was like visceral, and it just felt out of place.
And it felt out of place because she's kind of undeserving of all this. She's just sort of tagging along.
She's the innocent bystander.
And usually those kind of characters you put in jeopardy and you threaten jeopardy on them, but you don't actually. Yes, and then you can, like Taylor Lautner's character, you can chain up and hit with the electroprobes because he deserves it.
Because he'd be fine because nothing hurts him. He's fine.
And then some left and right, and then they end up fighting in his cabin.
Yeah, weird chase or misconnections scene.
Yeah, but this fight was kind of boring to me.
Were the other fights exciting to you?
I liked Maria Bello's fight. I liked that fight.
Okay.
I thought
You're
that was
right.
a good
You're right. The mom fought, but the dad part of it was terrible.
Was not that good.
Yeah.
Her fight was a real fight.
Yes.
Where they actually exploit. I wish they'd have exploited more where it was like 2-on-1 in that fight, where you're just like, it's 2-on-1. She's gonna lose.
As good as she is, she's not gonna be able to overcome it.
And they didn't really play on that at all.
Yeah.
So they fight. He beats him, and then probably my favorite part of the movie, except for there's a bomb in the oven. He throws the bad guy out the window of the train.
Well, first of all,
which is like really, which is going to kill him for sure. Which is him murdering that guy.
Yeah, he's dead. He never stood a chance. All right, he's got rage issues, Dan. What are you gonna do? But how strong are train windows? Do you think?
Oh no, you're not getting through them.
Right.
I would think you're not ever getting through them.
The guy smashing his head and cracking the entire window. He's definitely hurt. That'll mess you up legitimately. But then he karate kicks the window out.
Oh, did he karate kick?
That's how he opened the window. He just kicks it. That whole thing was really dumb to me.
So they. How did they stop the train? The train stops for some reason.
The train stops because a goddamn body just fell out of the side window.
No, I think they pull the stop and then sneak off.
You think they pulled the stop? Oh, I imagined that somebody in one of the 100 cars behind them was like, was that a body that fell out? Better stop the train and check on this person that fell out of a moving train.
So they sneak out and they're like running away, and then Alfred Molina's character is like on them instantaneously.
So fast.
Like within seconds. And they're immediately ready to turn around and bolt back into the woods, and then he gives them a whole song and dance about why they should stop.
Somehow, one of the guys got ahead of them in the woods. Did you notice that? How did that happen? Did they set a trap in the woods knowing he'd run to that specific point and then converge? It's so weird to me.
It was so bad. Yeah. I wrap up the whole movie in like this much space.
Oh, good. I've got lots to say. Don't worry.
I know. So then they go to a diner, and then the little girl's off getting the other agent's off tending to her bruises. Tend to your bruises.
Because there only one person bruises in this entire movie.
And what you're going to do to somebody, it's not like she was cut. And what's the agent going to do about your bruises?
They were putting makeup on it so no one would know.
Because it was both women. Yeah. They're doing makeup. Because that's what women do. They do makeup.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Tony, you're terrible.
I'm sorry. You give me a better explanation for what he was doing to bruises.
So then Alfred Molina's character is like, oh, we're looking. I think this is where we lay out the whole plot.
Yeah. As he's eating his delicious. He makes that sound several times. I don't know why it's in there. I'm sorry.
So the plot is this. The evil Russians have been looking for Taylor Lautner's characters because he's the son of the super spy. And somehow, just in the last week, the super spy has gotten this super spy information, which is a coded thing on the phone, which somehow Nathan magically now has. And they want this thing. Somehow everybody then figures out that Nathan actually has it, I think. Or he tells them or something. I don't even know.
Well, I don't think, do they know
Yeah,
yet?
because he finds out in the course of this conversation or something. So basically,
All right.
they want to take Nathan and then use him as a bargaining chip to get this information back. But somehow Taylor Lautner knows that Alfred Molina's character's name is on this list.
Best guess ever. I mean, this kid is smart. Wow, he called that bluff from a mile away. Unbelievable.
And so there's like 6 or 7 agents outside the building protecting, standing around in the street with guns.
They are fully armed, just in the surrounding area. They're on rooftops. This is a scary place to be right now.
And now somehow the bad guys are also here and have somehow taken up even better positions.
Well,
so
that's
that
my thing. These people are on the roofs. You had time to set up. Pick good vantage points. What are you doing? You're a terrible team.
No, but you see, they're not a terrible team. The other team is just even that much more magical.
No, they were a terrible team. This guy, one of the cuts was these 2 bad guys creeping up over the edge, looking down and seeing a guy on the roof below, and then they just slowly walk back like, uh-oh, there's a guy there. What?
So the bad guys kill everybody, kill all the ostensible good guys, and then start rappelling down the walls in this one sort of throwaway scene. And then they start blasting the hell out of the diner.
The diner. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just ripping it up. But this is my favorite part of the movie, Dan.
I don't even remember. You know, Tony, I have no idea how they resolved all the bad guys outside and like the good guys inside. And the good guys get away somehow.
Everybody's dying, right? They rain hellfire on the diner. Alfred Molina and his lady cop both dive, hit the floor, and they're like, Nathan, run. So Nathan and the girl get away. I think most of the other people are dead, except for Alfred and the girl. And this is the greatest part of the movie. As the bad guys are entering, Alfred Molina gives a little nod to his lady, and then they play dead. They play possum, Dan, and then they wake up and shoot the bad guys. And there was no communication. So to me, this is telling me that playing possum is part of your FBI/CIA training. Like, if you're ever in a situation where people are coming into a building that had just shot up, play dead. They'll never guess you're really alive.
Bang!
It was amazing. I've never seen that in a movie, I don't think. And kudos to them. Kudos.
So once again, his buddy has come through. He meets up with the buddy. The buddy's like stolen the neighbor's car.
Gilly. I just remembered. And how does he get to these places?
He stole the neighbor's, or he took the neighbor's car.
I don't mean physically, Dan.
He says that.
How does he know where to meet these people who are on the run?
How do they keep communicating?
Gilly is the magic man. He has an ESP connection to Nathan, and really they should be together. I think that's the end of the movie.
Oh, that would be sweet. So he shows up and he's got them tickets, and then he has, because of course the game is happening, he says, I've set up everything, or something like that.
Like what? What did you set up, guy?
Well, we're going to find that out.
Yes, we are.
In the big finale. So they're at the baseball game. And this is the point at which he cuts loose the girl. He's like, girl, just go do whatever. You've been along on all this.
She's definitely involved now because everyone has seen her at this point. Now let her go. You idiot.
Now it's safe for you to not be around me. So he goes in there, and like all the bad guys go in there. Or not, only one of the bad guys go in there because he leaves a ticket stuck to a shoe.
Yeah, to the shoe
which I liked.
of the statue, which is great. But here's my problem with this scene. The young lady is taking pictures of this happening so that he knows that they're there on her flip phone from like 30 yards away. That flip phone has like a 20x zoom on it. There's no way that is right. That phone is magical, man. I've taken a lot of pictures with flip phones, and if you're any further than 5 feet away, you can't tell what's happening. You can't see nothing. Those pixels are huge.
So he's in there, the bad guy's in there. They come at the seats, they sit down next to each other, and then the dude tells Nathan that he killed his mom. And we see that under the seat is a gun. So he has gotten his friend, his black friend, to go hours early and tape a gun under a seat to wait for him to show up. What is the problem with all of this?
Just one? Is that what I'm supposed to think? There's just one problem with this?
What's the main problem with this?
It turns out I don't think there is a problem with this, Dan, because I have concluded just in the span of this podcast is that Gilly's dad owns the stadium. That must be what it is. He literally owns the stadium, and so it was fine. It was totally fine.
Hey, Dad, I'm going to go plant a gun in your stadium.
For all I know, the dad did it. He was like, you know what? I'll take care of it. Don't worry, bud. You're my best friend.
Okay, Tony, talk to me about seats at baseball stadiums.
The plastic seat that flips up so you'd be able to see the gun at all times? What about it, Dan? What do you want to know?
So the people that are sitting 2 seats down, because there's somebody right next to them for hours, right? Because the game's the place is filled pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. They would have probably just been like, oh, it's one of those seats. That's a special prize that you win in between innings. They'll be like, that's seat number 47, look underneath.
Gun! So, of course, Nathan's sitting there. He pulls out the gun. He's thinking about rage shooting this guy because he killed his parents or his mom or his real mom or his not real mom. He's not sure who he's raging about.
Sure. And well, he's not raging. He puts it back.
He puts it back.
This idiot, in the middle of being told that this guy is a bad guy and kills everybody, is like, you know what? I want to hear more safely, and puts the gun back. I mean, just shoot him, guy. You know he's the bad guy. Why don't you shoot him? What is the purpose of taking the gun out and putting it back in?
So somehow then Nathan stands up and the bad guy retrieves the gun. Surprise, surprise. Now the bad guy has a gun in the stadium. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So then Nathan runs away and there's a bunch of running away.
Just a very First of all, I just want to say that from my understanding is that Taylor Lautner does martial arts and has like some skills. Which
he did some of these stunts. He did some of the stunts.
That's what
the sliding down the glass. He did that. I watched.
Which is cool.
Great.
I want more of that. I feel like they really wasted this opportunity because yes, he's not a good actor, but there's a lot of action stars that are terrible actors, but they get away with it because they do cool things in their movies. I don't feel like we utilize that at all because he does some cool parkour in this runaway scene. I was like, where was that for the rest of the movie? Put that in there somewhere.
Well, that's the whole thing is they wanted to have a love story. You know, they wanted to have everything. They wanted him making out with a girl so that girls watching this could think that's them. Or if Tony's watching this, he could think that he's making out with Taylor Lautner.
Thank you.
So they run around and his dad calls him on the phone and is like, get him, I'm here, son. Which I kind of like that line. He's like, get him out to the left parking lot, and then I'll take care of things.
I don't understand why they refuse to show the dad. He has one of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood. Immediately, I was like, I know that guy. And then they never show his face.
I didn't know it was him until I saw the bottom of his jaw, his chin. And I was like, "Oh, that's who it is." But I was like, "I know that voice. I know that voice."
Yeah, And it's super distracting. I would have rather they just showed and it was like, oh, okay, cool. I know that guy. But instead it's like this mystery. And then I spent half the movie being like, okay, oh no, I know who it is. I know who it is. It's a terrible decision.
So the whole thing is, this guy's been trying to get this information, which is on this phone, this whole movie, and we're finally out there in the parking lot. He's pointing a gun at him, and he says, "Stop or I'll kill you," or something.
After the straight line sprinting, the chase scene starts cool with parkour, and then goes into the parking lot where they're just both running in a straight line. Why are you running in a straight line if a guy's got a gun on you? Zigzag at least. Give me something.
So he stops, and you're like, how does this guy ever, there's all these CIA guys everywhere. How does he think he's going to get away with this magic list?
No idea.
They will go through anything to just you have to take this list and use it somehow. You're not, it's encrypted. So you can't just go, I've got the list.
I'm done. Why doesn't he just kill Taylor Lautner here? He's already basically surrounded by the guys. He should just get the list at this point. Why does he keep the kid alive?
And so what's his big line that he says?
Oh, no, I don't know. What's his big line?
You're not as good as your father.
Oh, yeah. Of course he's not. He's not a trained spy.
And so what should Taylor Lautner have said at that point?
Yes, I am.
He should have said,
either are you idiot.
You're not as good as my father. And the father guns him down because the father is the hero.
Why does the father take 4 minutes to gun this guy down? There's a whole standoff where he's pointing the gun at his kid and he's just looking through the scope being like, okay, I got him. Don't pull the trigger. Don't pull the trigger.
He's adjusting it for wind. He's holding the finger up. Okay.
Okay. All right.
He's got a haze. Okay. Haze.
Look, I've seen American Sniper. All right. You can get that off quicker.
So who was the dad?
I don't remember his name, but isn't he's the guy with the long face and he's from that wedding movie.
You just said he's got one of the most recognizable voices, but you don't know who he is.
He's got a recognizable voice, but not a name.
Okay. Is he Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney?
The second one.
Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulroney.
He's the second one.
Which one? Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulroney.
Mulroney.
You're correct.
Yeah. See, I know.
So then Sigourney Weaver shows up because, of course, everyone shows up. Yeah. I wrote piece of wood because through all this, he's Taylor Lautner's piece of wood.
I don't understand piece of wood.
And then they go out into the stadium and are in the empty. They get to spend time in the empty stadium.
Hold on. Before we get there, we have to talk one last time about the parents in this movie. So Sigourney Weaver decides that she's just going to be his. Sigourney Weaver, fine. Sigourney.
What did you say?
I put a J in it instead. It's Sigourney Weaver. So she decides to be his parent for no reason.
Oh yeah, she does.
But her first act as a parent is to let him go off with this lady to have alone time. It's like, no.
Man, are you going to have kids?
I'm going to have kids, but guess what? They're not going to have kids until they're old enough to have kids.
I'm going to be like the uncle that brings over the bottle of scotch for your 9-year-old. It's going to be great.
You are not allowed in my house, Dan.
He's going to have like a little bucket that he puts out the window. I'm going to get scotch and pornography, all the things that he needs. Totally ruin his household.
Boy needs. Oh.
So basically, we find out that the problem in 8th grade is that he wasn't ready. And then he says something about pretty exciting for a first date.
So bad. But again, this obviously Gilly has to own the entire stadium because they're alone in the stadium, which is not allowed. It's very frustrating.
And that's Abduction. Tony, who in this movie was abducted?
All of the kids from the milk cartons that we make fun of. Those are the only kids that are abducted in this movie.
We make fun of?
No. Sorry. We as in the movie. The movie made fun of the only people that were actually abducted.
No one in this movie was abducted.
Wrong. The kids on the milk cartons. Some of them. I mean, not all of them, for sure. Who knows? But some of them were definitely abducted.
How do you know that? They're probably all deep. They're probably all deep fakes.
You think every single one of them is a CIA or FBI agent's kid? This is a great conspiracy. I'm into that. I'm into it. You're right. Nobody was abducted. I have no idea why it's called Abduction. Not even a little bit. The only person that might have been abducted is the love interest. She's the only person that might have been abducted by Nathan.
She was... And that's another whole story. You can do 7 Days of the Condor, where he abducts Faye Dunaway's character and uses her. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Tony?
I do actually. I know this reference. I think is that a Captain America line? I understood that reference.
Who's the star of 7 Days of the Condor?
I don't remember anyone's name, Dan. I'm gonna Google it right now. How about that?
Stupid. Any final thoughts about Abduction?
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. What a waste of a beautiful specimen that is Taylor Lautner. Even though he's not very good, I still think he deserves better. And it's a good shirt. I think that they should have given him another chance. I feel bad that this was kind of his one and done because he wasn't given much to work with.
I think he's a TV star. That's what I think. I think he should go and be in TV. He's not a movie star. This is not a guy that's going to carry a movie.
As long as he gets to be topless in whatever he does, I'm fine with it.
Okay, well, we're gonna abduct ourselves from Abduction because, God, what a pile. It wasn't a bad movie. It was just like,
it just wasn't good.
It was a movie, as a cookie cutter movie. At the 30-minute mark was where his parents are getting killed, and there's 15 minutes at the end. Although at the end there was like 7 or 8 minutes after the bad guy was killed.
Yes,
and you're just like, wow, what are we gonna do at this time? And
can we just wrap it up, please? Just roll the credits.
So this is the part of the show where we talk about something we like that we've seen this week. I haven't seen anything I really like this week, so I'm going to pick something a little bit different. I'm going to pick a video game. It's kind of a video game. It's an online game. It's called Fall Guys. Have you seen this game?
Dan, I love Fall Guys. Unbelievable. They gave it away on PlayStation Plus for free.
Okay.
And it is so much fun.
I haven't played it yet, but I've watched people on Twitch playing it, and you're this little character, and you're just trying to avoid either getting thrown off a bridge or knocked down a hole, or it's just really cute and really fun, and just this nice palate cleansing thing in this world. And that's what we need sometimes, is a little cleansing of the old palate.
Yeah, especially now.
What do you got for us, Tony?
I'm going a little bit different. I'm going a little more emotionally. My pick for this week is a little documentary called You Cannot Kill David Arquette. Came out, I think, last week. And it's about David Arquette's return to wrestling. Don't shake your head. It's emotional. It's kind of sad. I mean, it's actually really sad because it's really a look into David Arquette's emotional place in his world. Like, his acting career has kind of dwindled.
Is he kind of an unstable guy?
Oh, for sure. For sure. He's, I mean, not in like a dangerous way, but unstable as in, I think there's some depression there. His life kind of took a dive after, I mean, the way that the movie depicts it as after his debut in WWE, where he won the belt. Or I think it might have been WWF at the time.
Wait, who are we talking about? Are we
David
talking
Arquette,
about
the actor? It's David Arquette, the actor
from Scream.
That's what everyone remembers him from. But he did a lot of great stuff before that. But yes,
he's in one of my favorite movies, Hamlet 2.
Oh, that is good.
That is that's like one of my top 10 movies.
The guy can legit act. Have you seen My Own Private Idaho? It's one of
Was
his.
he in that? He was in that.
Yes,
I don't remember him.
It's him and River Phoenix, and it's one of his earlier roles. But it's a tough movie to watch, but it's good. He can act. And then in the early 2000s, he did a movie called something about Rumble. He did a wrestling movie. We'll probably do that movie at some point. Now that I'm on a David Arquette kick, it wasn't very good. But to promote the movie, he went and did some wrestling. And
how big is he?
He's very small.
Okay,
he's not a big guy. But
you keep saying wrestling, and I picture like this little guy. I'm like,
but that's the thing is they thought it'd be a great gimmick to let him win the belt.
Oh, okay.
And when that happened, his career went off the rails because everyone hated him. Everyone, like the wrestling world, hated him. They were really mad. Hollywood stopped taking him seriously because he was doing this ridiculous wrestling thing, and his career kind of started to unravel there and was taken less seriously. And so he's in mid-40s now, and he feels like he's a joke, and he's kind of depressed on where his life is. And so his answer to that is to return to wrestling. And so it's a doc about that, and it's an interesting look at, you know, kind of like the psyche of an actor who maybe isn't where he wants to be, and kind of self-redemption more than anything. It's beautiful. It's worth a watch. I liked it.
And where'd you watch it at?
It came out on home digital last week, so I watched it on.
What's that?
It's digital movies, so it's not on any like free platform, but you can.
So
buy
you can rent it like for $4.
Yeah, you can rent it. Yeah, I would assume Amazon Prime you can rent it. Prime. I bought it on Vudu because I'm a huge David Arquette fan. But anyhow, and
is there any positive resolve at the end of the movie?
It ends kind of hopeful / inspirational, but there's no. It leaves it obviously open because he's not on a comeback. You know what I mean?
But he has enough money to live the rest of his life, right? Oh,
for sure. Yeah, he's not. Okay. It's not like he's hurting in that way financially or anything. It's just inner turmoil that he's trying to wrestle with.
And that's one thing that we didn't talk about at Hulk Hogan. We didn't talk about it this. We should just talk about this for 1 second. Since I didn't pick a movie, let's talk about another movie for just a second. The Wrestler.
Oh.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking, depressing.
Yeah, it's rough.
When he sets up at that show, you know, like selling his merchandise at the card table.
Yeah.
That was one of the realest things I've ever seen in a movie because it's so true and so heartbreaking.
It's wild.
So, starting next week,
Halloween. What? Is that one of the ones that glows in the dark?
October.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween time, so we're going to do Halloween movies for the next 4 weeks. These are going to be creepy, spooky, terrible, terrible movies.
Definitely that. They may not make creep or spooky, but they'll try.
So I have gone with a movie that I've seen part of and is...
Just keep petting yourself with the hand, Dan.
One... not up the nose. I'm going with one of the worst movies ever made. One of those equivocal worst movies ever made. And I've watched part of this movie, and it is incomprehensible and just weird. This is no Hollywood big.
Oh God,
this
I'm
is
excited.
Low rent, true garbage, 1991.
Okay.
You know it. You love it. Troll 2.
Troll 2! A classic! Which I've never seen. No, I never saw it.
You've never seen it? Okay.
Never saw it.
I've seen part of it. It's terrible. So next week we'll have watched Troll 2, which is available on Amazon Prime for rental.
Great.
Yeah. Any other last words for the spooktacular October that we're going to be starting?
I am ready. It is my favorite season of the year. and my family, it's the biggest holiday that we celebrate is Halloween. And
Are you going home for Halloween, Tony?
No, Dan, I'm not because of the world.
COVID.
But
yeah, we don't,
every other year I have.
Man, you haven't seen your family in a long time, have you?
Yeah, it's the longest I've ever gone without seeing them. That's right.
Yeah, Tony his family used to fly out here all the time, and they'd have family vacations and things, and a few times a year, and so it's been harsh.
Yeah, it's obviously could be worse. So.
Way to bring the show down, Tony. Good
you
job.
brought it down. If anything, I was like, Halloween, I'm so excited, and then you brought up my family.
Well, someday you'll have a family of your own, and you will traumatize those children horribly. And Dan Goodsell will be there with the booze. Here's the booze, little boy.
Thank God for you, Dan. Thank God for you.
Well, this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan, and that's
Tony.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
We love you.
Hey, watching!